Hi, today's video is going to focus on analogies, the different types, how they're constructed, and how to create them yourself. First, you need to know what an analogy is. Basically, the point of an analogy is to show a relationship between two words.
There are 5 types of relationship that we'll be focusing on with our analogies today, and they are synonym, antonym, characteristic, product, and degree, although there are many more.
In order to understand how to use analogies, you have to understand how they are written. When you see an analogy, most often you'll see a word, a colon, another word, 2 colons, a word, a colon, and a final word. It's read like this.
Short is to tall as wide is to narrow. What this little phrase means is that the relationship shared by the first pair of words is the same as the relationship shared by the second pair of words. In this case, the words are opposites. Short and tall are opposites, and wide and narrow are opposites. Fantastic! Now you know what analogies are, what they do, and how to read them. So the next step is learning a couple different kinds of them. The first 2 types of analogy that we'll talk about are synonyms and antonyms. Synonym analogies show words that have the same or similar dictionary definitions, and antonym analogies have words that have opposite dictionary definitions. In these examples, we have a synonym analogy of lovely is to beautiful as step is to pace, and an antonym analogy of lovely is to ugly as step is to halt. The next type of analogy is the characteristic analogy, which gives a word and a trait of that word. For example, light bulb is to bright as brothers are to annoying. Light bulbs have the characteristic of brightness, and brothers often have the characteristic of being annoying. The next kind of analogy we'll talk about is a product analogy, which is an item and the thing that is produced by that item. For example, tree is to lumber as cow is to milk. Lumber is produced from trees, and milk is produced from cows. The next kind of analogy that we'll talk about is a degree analogy, which is a word and a more intense version of that word. For example, chuckle is to guffaw as whimper is to wail. A chuckle is a small laugh and a guffaw is a big laugh, while a whimper is a small cry and a wail is a big cry. Remember, the order that the information is presented in matters. Each side of the analogy should be balanced with the same sort of information coming on both sides of the colons. For example, producer is to product as producer is to product in a product analogy. So, cloud is to rain as mint is to money. You couldn't have cloud is to rain as money is to mint because that would be producer product and then product producer. It doesn't work that way. Great job. I'm really happy for you. You should be all ready to continue on with your analogy practice activities for the day. Good luck, and if you have a question, feel free to ask.